fruit of the Spirit's not a banana. Nah. The fruit of the Spirit's not a banana. Nah. You want to be a banana? You might as well hear it. You can't be a fruit of the Spirit, 'cause the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. The fruit of the Spirit's not a watermelon. What you yelling? The fruit of the Spirit's not a watermelon. What you yelling? You want to be a watermelon? You might as well hear it. You can't be a fruit of the Spirit, 'cause the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. The fruit of the Spirit's not a kumquat. What? The fruit of the Spirit's not a kumquat. What? If you want to be a kumquat, you might as well hear it. You can't be a fruit of the Spirit, 'cause the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. There's a Sea of Galilee. There's a Sea of Galilee. There's a sea. There's a sea. There's a Sea of Galilee. There's a boat in the Sea of Galilee. There's a boat in the Sea of Galilee. There's a boat. There's a boat. There's a boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are men. There are men. There are men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are hands on the men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are hands on the men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are hands. There are hands. There are hands on the men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are nets in the hands of the man in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are nets in the hands of the man in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are nets. There are nets. There are nets in the hands of the men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are fish in the nets in the hands of the man in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are fish in the nets in the hands of the man in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are fish. There are fish. There are fish in the nets of the hands of the man in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are many, many fish in the nets in the hands of the man in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are many, many fish in the nets in the hands of the man in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are many, many fish. Many, many fish. Many, many fish in the nets in the hands of the man in the boat in the Sea of Galilee.
Okay, folks, we are finally here in the home stretch on these auditions. Only a few hundred more of you to go. I am Martian, relative to Martin and to Marvin. They are busy. Just a reminder, these are auditions for the new superhero team, so please do not bring sheet music for the piano player. There is no piano player, and we don't want to hear you sing. Number 567, please.
567, I'm here, sir.
Well, hello. You are
They call me Bravery Girl.
Bravery Girl. That is a pretty bold name.
I said they call me Bravery Girl. I don't know how brave I actually am, though, but when I was put to the test, I made a tough choice.
What choice was that?
I picked the veggie burger over the regular hamburger.
I don't quite understand. I am told by my resources that the humans like the meat burgers.
I'm just kidding. I was only testing to see if you were listening.
Okay, I am listening now.
Well, it all happened when I was living in the palace of the king.
How did that happen?
I married him. I was his queen.
Go on.
I found out that there were men who wanted to kill the people of Israel. My people. I had a tough choice. I could stay silent and let my people die, or I could ask the king to help them.
That does not sound like a hard choice to me.
That's what you think. You see, I couldn't just go see the king at any time I wanted. He had to call me first, and if I went to see the king without being called, and he didn't want to see me, I could end up dead.
But if you did not go to see the king, your people would be dead.
It was very scary, but God gave me the courage to do the right thing. God used me to save my people. He made me brave.
And he made you a hero.
I'd love to tell you that I am always brave, but that's just not true. I need God to keep me brave, so I will always make the tough choice and stand for what's right.
That sounds like the kind of hero this world needs. Thank you, bravery girl. We will be in touch. That is all tonight for the Wheel of Fortunes. Hero auditions. You will never see me again. Goodbye.
Nick is going to help us demonstrate a science experiment. Have you ever tried to stand an egg on one end? It's not easy to do. But if you're clever enough, you can find a way to amaze your friends. Here's a quick and easy way. Take a tiny dash of salt and sprinkle it on the table. Then set the egg right on top of the salt. Amazing, isn't it? You can try that trick at home, just getting an egg and some salt. Be sure to ask your mom and dad before you try it. Sometimes we need help standing up as well. Just like that egg needs the help of salt to stand up, we need help too. When we're faced with a tough choice to stand up for what's right or to be silent, we need a lot of courage. God can give us that courage to stand up for what we believe in. He will make us brave in the face of people who might mock us or tease us. He will use us to show everyone that His way is the right way. If you're ever faced with the choice to be silent or speak out, ask God to give you the words to say and the courage to say them. God can help you point the way so others can follow.
Good morning, kids. Faith means doing the right thing even when it's scary. Sometimes it may be scary to stand up for Jesus, but Jesus is a friend no matter what. Well, every now and then a superhero has to face off with a villain who has managed to deceive the people into thinking he's not a villain, but is actually their friend. Some of the most clever villains actually get the people to trust them and to give in to their demands. They run for mayor of the city, promising to take care of the people, to give everyone what they want. But they promise to make life better for all citizens. Deep down, it's all part of their plot. Take over the world, but in the moment, the people choose to believe them, and they give crooks like Lex Luthor and the Penguin their support. So what happens when a hero comes along and tells people to stop? What happens when Batman stands up against the Penguin and everyone loves the Penguin? The people boo. They tell him to go away. They ignore his pleas to reject the Penguin and remember all the terrible things he has done to Gotham. Batman knows he's right about the Penguin, but for a time, Batman must stand alone. Yes, he must be brave in the face of being unpopular. He must stand for what's right when no one else believes him. People of faith are faced with this difficult choice all the time. We live in a sinful world. Our world wants us to do things that go opposite of how God teaches us to live in the Bible. People want to be selfish. They don't want to help others. They want to be sinful, and they don't like when someone tells them they are wrong. Yet God calls us to stand up, to be bold, and to speak out, even when speaking out is a scary thing to do. Today's hero is a woman we call Bravery Girl. She's an Israelite who found herself living in the palace of a mighty king. She had it all, and as long as she followed the king's rules, she could keep it all. But one day she was asked to break a rule. Incredible faith, Bravery Girl. She was asked to take a stand that could cost her her life. She was asked to be brave and risk her own life to save the lives of many other people. Have you ever been there? Well, today we're talking about a woman named Esther, and we're looking at the book of Esther. So get ready for Miss Leslie.
Hi, friends. So today we're going to talk about Esther and just how brave she was. So we're going to be in Esther 4, and we're going to read 8 through 17, and then we're going to go to Esther 5 and read 1 through 3. So starting in 8, it says, "He also gave him a copy of the text of the edict for their annihilation, which had been published in Susa, to show to Esther and explain it to her. And he told him to instruct her to go into the king's presence to beg for mercy and plead with him for her people. Hathach went back and reported to Esther what Mordecai had said. Then she instructed him to say to Mordecai, 'All the king's officials and the people of the royal provinces know that for any man or woman who approaches the king in the inner court without being summoned, the king has but one law, that they be put to death unless the king extends the gold scepter to them and spares their lives. But 30 days had passed since I was called to go to the king.' When Esther's words were reported to Mordecai, he sent back this answer. 'Do not think that because you are in the king's house, you alone of all the Jews will escape. For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place. But you and your father's family will perish. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this?' Then Esther sent this reply to Mordecai. 'Go, gather together all the Jews who are in Susa and fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, night or day. And I and my attendants will fast as you do. When this is done, I will go to the king, even though it is against the law. And if I perish, I perish.' So Mordecai went away and carried out all of Esther's instructions. On the 3rd day, Esther put on her royal robes and stood in the inner court of the palace in front of the king's hall. The king was sitting on his royal throne in the hall, facing the entrance. When he saw Queen Esther standing in the court, he was pleased with her and held out to her the gold scepter that was in his hand. So Esther approached and touched the tip of the scepter. Then the king asked, 'What is it, Queen Esther? What is your request? Even up to half the kingdom, it will be given to you.' So, what we learn about Esther is that she had a really tough choice. If she didn't speak out, her uncle Mordecai, all of her family, and all the people of Israel would suffer horribly under a terrible law her husband, the king, passed. But Esther couldn't just go to the king without permission. The king could order her to be killed if she walked into his throne room without him asking her to be there. Can you imagine that?
I can.
That would be crazy.
Right. Crazy. Cray.
Esther knew she could go to the king's throne room at any time, but if the king was unhappy to see her, she could be punished. Do you remember what it said? She could be banished from the palace, put in prison, or even what? Put to death. Esther needed a lot of courage to take the stand her uncle asked her to take. In the end, Esther went to see the king. He welcomed her, and he promised to do whatever she asked. Esther was born for such a time as this, just as her uncle said. She chose to take a stand, and she became one of the great heroes in the history of Israel. Esther shows us that people of faith are brave enough to stand up for God, even when doing so is scary.
Right. So, incredible faith, right? It can be scary making a choice to take a stand. Not everyone is going to agree with you. Some people will let you speak, even though they disagree with you, but others will laugh at you. They may try to stop you or make fun of you and insult you. No one wants to be told to be quiet. No one wants to be called names. No one wants to have someone else call them a fool. But God is counting on us to do the right thing. He wants us to be brave like Esther. He wants us to take a stand. So let's take a stand today. Have a great Sunday and be blessed. We love you guys.
Bye,
Take
guys.
care. Bye.